Hi, I am reading from the book Färjan, The Ferry by me, Tomas Berglund. We are on the 17th episode. The garbage dump in Älvsbyn, Riddarvägen, is a bit like a battlefield. Every once in a while I go out with garbage. The door to the garbage room is already open. It should be closed for some reason. Probably so that those who throw it away can be sure that they throw away won't go at least one more turn around town. It was open the last time I went out to the garbage dump, but I didn't do anything then. But just now I called Älvsbybo. It felt like I was being hit with a cascade of questions, but it wasn't. Was it closed when you left? Closed when you left? Did you try to close it? There was more. I'll try to remember to check these things before I call in the next time. I don't want to be a nuisance. But what you can say about the garbage dump, it's sometimes chaos in there. It's probably cleaned up at certain occasions. And then it's like baby bottoms in there, a pure pleasure. You wish it were this way all the time. But then there are days like today when people have missed the right bin with their bags. Instead, they lie on the floor. Sometimes it's really filthy. Someone has carried the table down and taken apart it to some extent. There might be a can of paint on the floor, unfolded. Cardboard boxes are making a noise. A broken wooden table should be taken to the garbage station at 10 Kleppen. There is almost always some furniture in the garbage dump, however. I have never bumped into anyone in the garage dump. I've been used to dog barking. My room in Little Peter had a window facing the hunting dog's kennel, and at night Pangen, the one-eyed duster, ran around at night and chased our dog. It was a real dog's life. I don't know how I managed to sleep with that noise, but we all learned to sleep with dog barking around our bodies and ears. It didn't help to get angry. I think the foster father went over and talked to the neighbor Malte about the problem, but the next night there was the same thing. Some things are hard to get through. It wasn't a problem that our dog barked all night, not for the neighbor. What happened here in Älvsbyn, I think, is that my upstairs neighbor was with a girl who had a golden retriever, so all of a sudden he got himself a golden retriever, which he had of course thought a lot about. The dog was allowed to come with him to the excavator job and maybe in more places. Melvin was the little puppy's name, but the little puppy grew up and became a big dog, and for some reason people started leaving the dogs in the apartment during the day. They started barking. Maybe they should have checked on the dogs more often. I think it was morning, lunch, and then in the evening. But that wasn't enough. It barked and barked from early mornings to late evenings. Someone was home for lunch and walking the dogs. It was either the neighbor or his girlfriend at the time. One morning there was a knock on my door. It was the caretaker who had been in the stairwell and listened to the noise. He told me, "This is a warning. I, it can't sound like this." And very true, someone sent the signal. The neighbor probably realized himself that it wasn't working. Now a period began when there were only one dog in the apartment, not two. Here the dogs stopped being two together on their own. I think it wasn't long before it was over between my neighbor and his girl. I never saw her or her car again in the neighborhood. Weeks can go by without me hearing a sound from the floor above. Sometimes I think that maybe my neighbor has met a new woman. His threatened Mercedes must have been disappeared. It was no longer visible in the yard. I have no idea what car he is driving at the moment. No idea. I'm like a private detective, light. I don't have a good grasp of the situation, but I think the analysis is quite interesting. Why and how? But then, a month ago, there was a dog lying there, whining, or rather howling softly. I thought it was one of the neighbor's dogs, so I called him, and he was so angry because it wasn't his dog, but the dog of the woman in the apartment next door. He said he was so angry that he kicked the wall. So this was the enormous Leonberger Movitz who was lying at home and feeling lonely. The owner works at the Svedlandia nursing home here in town. It worked out. I think she started coming home a little more often, so the whining ended. Maybe what I did around the dog was good for everyone. The owner started going home and walking Movitz a little more often, and it's possible that he started to spend more time with an acquaintance or relative. Now we almost have completely cleared the staircase of dog life. Sometimes you can hear when a dog comes out of an apartment. There may be a little barking, or when the dog is coming through the gate, but it's so little, even though I now prefer to take a quiet staircase to a staircase full of dog barking. That's how it is. Why do you actually get the dog? You have to like the dog, and you probably do, but it's no fun when someone complains, right? There are mailboxes in the stairwell. One or more of the tenants throw Extrabladet and Älvsbyn Extra, or whatever they are called, on the floor. All of the advertising magazines that are distributed in the mailboxes are thrown out on the floor inside the entrance, and I pick up the magazines. I can't stand seeing such a mess and debris. Why I'm the one cleaning, I don't know. I think everyone should see how dirty and messy it looks with magazines on the floor, but you never cease to be amazed. For me, it's like you're never writing to say you refuse advertising leaflets, but rather carrying out some kind of silent protest. It's been a while. To do laundry, there is a laundry room in the basement at Riddarvägen 7A. You use a so-called blip to book, and the same is used to unlock the laundry room. I estimate that I will take maybe 2 weeks in the queue system, maybe less. I now only have two sweatshirts. That is, large sweaters and a few t-shirts. I should buy more thick sweaters and more pants. All the laundry usually fits in two washing machines, which take about 50 minutes for one wash. Then I take all the laundry out and hang it to dry in the living room. It may take a day before everything is dry. It doesn't take that long at all. I have experienced something strange in the laundry room. No lint balls and no forgotten clothes. At first, when I moved here, I thought someone would miss the pickup time, the time with which you are supposed to pick up your clothes. But it seems to work. At least one has forgotten clothes when I have had laundry time. The toilet seat has been sealed. It smelled of woe and horror, but now it's quiet. One thing can bother me a little, that you can't book a new laundry time until the laundry time you have has expired, so you have to go down an extra time and book. Johannes lives in his accommodation. I have visited him. He may live a bit ascetic. I remember that he has a huge TV that is the center of the apartment, and it's a well-used TV. I mostly watch things via my computer screen that I have on my stomach in bed. I see Johannes sitting and blinking and receiving all the information that the TV and the computer game delivers. I could easily live like Johannes and have the support that he receives via LSS. In some ways, Johannes is healthier than I am, but via LSS he receives a certain special support. I am somehow too healthy to receive interventions from LSS. I would have needed some kind of autism spectrum disorder. It is not enough that I have bipolar disorder. Today I walked from my home to Stora Coop in the city center, and it took me maybe 10 minutes to walk to Coop. Maybe 7.5 minutes was enough. I live next door to the recycling market. I just have to go out into the street and behind the house, and I'm there. It's quite central, yet the rents are relatively low, and yet it's quiet. I have my party neighbor, but he never stays up until 10 p.m., longer than 10 p.m. Today there was some noise from the party neighbor, but it's no danger. The neighbors on my floor have probably moved. It looks completely dead when you walk outside their windows. I'm almost sure that they found another place to live. I hope some good neighbor moves in. During the weekend that passed, it was mostly me and Mons upstairs who were at home. I usually lie in bed and write, and then I heard how quiet it was in the house. It was only Mons who was up moving around. It became as quiet as it only gets if he is lying on his sofa or bed. Then I got up and got off my bed so that I made a crashing sound. It was kind of liberating. No one had to wonder if I was home or not. Right where I put my foot down on the floor, it makes a lot of noise. It really does crash. You can go wrong with that position on the floor. Then I try to flush the toilet and the taps. I want to be heard, break the silence. But somehow it creates a feeling of togetherness when there are creaks and noises in the house. It's no secret that someone is home or not. You can really hear Måns walk around upstairs, and you can really hear it coming from me down here on the ground floor, preferably when I walk on the sore spots, the creaking parts of the floor. I have harder time hearing what's happening in the neighboring apartment on the same floor. It might be heard more through the floor or the ceiling than through the walls. You can almost liken this to be a creaking and as liberating. It's no secret that you're home in the apartment. I have quite a lot of bookshelves in my apartment. I have a bookshelf in the bedroom, and then I have two bookshelves in the living room, and all the shelves are occupied. I have several meters of shelves with stuff packed in plastic boxes. I have books on some shelves, most uh, mostly books from my university days. Then I have some sheet music that I had thought I would learn to play with, but nothing has come out of it. Now I have sold the guitars and keyboards, so none of my playing dreams will come true. I can always buy a keyboard and new guitars, but it sounds complicated. That was where I was in life. It was there and then. Next chapter, the Mercedes. Yesterday I was asked if I wouldn't take Bo and Greta's Volvo to drive instead of my old Mercedes. But I like my Mercedes so much that I say no. Plus that I have the best renovation you can get through Cousin Tom out in the village. The Merc is a 1993 model and the Volvo is a 2008 model. That's a 15 years difference. That's quite a lot. The Merc has started to rust a bit. That's the big worry. It will have to be the summer's work. Only a little was done this summer. Rust never sleeps, as Neil Young writes. No, these Mercs are fantastic creatures. I'm almost absolutely delighted. There is something wrong now and then, but so little in relation to years and miles. The Merc has heated rear-view mirrors, if I'm not mistaken. It's heated washer fluid nozzles and two stepless climate zones. It has more than you think. I might miss heated seats, extra lights, but I can't think of anything else at this moment. Cruise control would have been really nice. There are, of course, a whole lot of luxuries that could be added. I'm trying to write down everything that has happened and what has been done with the car. It has currently done about 71,500 miles, Swedish miles, 10 kilometers. Uh, to me, that is a pretty impressive number. I remember when I was young that the car had done 25,000 miles, could be considered a renovating item. Did cars go shorter in the past? I haven't written in detail about my car. It's actually my car, with pluses and minuses. An almost 30-year-old manufactured car by Mercedes-Benz. A 1993 W201 or 190 diesel, 2.5 liters, dark blue metallic, with the light brown original upholstery. The luxury that is in the car is basically the sunroof and the rear window heater. What I wish most of all that I could afford to buy one or more spare cars that me and cousin Tom could use, but they will be standing somewhere, and so maybe you would like to fix one of these. Maybe something for Oscar, I don't know. My first 190D was a completely black 2.0 liter from Korpikyllä. The dog on the farm was completely crazy. I wonder what they had done to it. I have never met such a scared dog. The owner said, "Don't go near," and I didn't go near. It was dangerous. One of the first dangerous dogs that I ever met. A Finnish Spitz of some kind. We made a deal, and this engine ran as if it had been tuned. It was strong and it was fast, but it was ugly. You could have imagined that the car had been rolled with black paint, but it wasn't really like that. It was ugly, but not that ugly. Finally got the skid one morning at the roundabout in Piteå. The front suspension. I don't remember which side, but the suspension bent. I went to Mercedes-Hallen, which at the time was an authorized Mercedes-Benz workshop and sales outlet. And believe it or not, the night before, a really nice grey 190D 2.0 liters with low mileage had arrived from the people who own the Kobdolis ski resort. I got to buy it for 14,000 kroners. A penny, hardly any rust. This is probably the nicest car I ever had. It ended up that I had to change the cylinder head gasket and chain, etc. on this one, but it could pull incredibly 0.55 liters per mile, uh, 10 kilometers on long drives. I got to experience new turns down to Skåne, among other things. The current car was my cousin Tom's former 190D 2.5 liters. Since he got his 2.5 liters turbo, my cousin's car is in top condition. There is not a scratch on it. It has a special brownish color that I have not seen on any other 190. When he started driving his turbo, I got to buy this one from him. I have it because we agreed on a price of 7,000 kronor. It was like a find. Now the prices are completely different. You have to pay a lot of thousands of shillings for something that needs a lot of care and a lot of thought. The prices have kept, they have kind of increased, and I just get happier and happier. How kind cousin Tom was me to let me buy this vehicle so cheap. This was the 17th.